We are ready to rock. We are rocking and rolling. All right. What's going on, familia? We got the famous Shirley and Claude-Eric, one and only, representing Miami. You already know. And don't say before we get serious, I guess, in this thing. Where have you guys I guess what have been your guys' training regiment as of now? If any, are I know that you Latin Dance Crown just finished, which you guys killed it at. Felicidades, by the way, congrats.
Thank you.
What I guess what are the I'm sure we'll talk about this in the actual episode itself, but do you guys have another? You guys have sights on another competition, or what? What are you guys thinking?
You let them know.
Well, right now we're trying to kind of level up into performance. So
Okay,
we don't
so
have dates
choreography
yet,
specifically.
but choreography, yes,
Okay, cool.
yes, yes. Um, we don't have a date yet, but I'm sure that there will be a debut very soon.
Nice. Okay,
We have
and
to find time to work hard.
is Mari the one that's choreographing on you guys, or is it a mixture of people?
It's gonna be between the us two and maybe like anybody who we could find for help in like the community. So it's gonna be mainly us two between the knowledge that we have each other, because that's what I want it to be. Because people don't know us, only we know us. So it makes the most sense for us to allow us to do us. It sounds crazy, but it makes sense if you break it down.
No. I hear you. Admirable, actually. Um, definitely.
We want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I said we want it to be like to combine both our talents. Um, and we want it to be something fun, that, like he said, that talks about us, our personality when we dance together, and that's what we want to come out.
Beautiful. No,
So
and
whatever is our preference, that's what we see.
no, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I actually I promote this all the time that I believe that there's a lot of stuff that you see out there that's really complex and it's nowhere near enough entertaining. It's nowhere near enough fun. It's nowhere near enough
Mm-hmm.
dance. I don't know if it's just, everyone's nervous or everyone's trying to outdo one another. I think the essence of the connection is missing, and obviously there's no better connection than mother son, arguably. So if you guys can represent that, that's gonna be awesome. I mean, there's a reason why you guys have the fan base that you guys have. Everybody loves you guys. That's for sure. Which is awesome.
Thank you.
So definitely give you guys props in the fact that you guys are continuing to train and gain your technique, if you would, while at the same time staying true to yourselves, which is great. And that's where you're going to have the most advantage. There's a song that says that. I think it's an old school song that says, I do what nobody can do. I just do me. Which obviously, if you guys are able to
Yes.
do that, then woof. Then everyone will want to come see you because it's never going to be like anything else. So that's awesome. If I may, is there a fusion of styles that you guys are trying to do, or?
I feel like it's not a fusion of style, but it's gonna be our style. I feel like
Okay,
that's the main thing in the community, creating your own style and embracing that own style and just putting that out into the world.
sure,
Because I feel like nobody's the same, and even if somebody trains under someone, they might look the same, but deep down they're really not because everybody's different in their own way. So
100%.
it's gonna be a fusion of styles, as in like of like mambo, or maybe like a little casino moment, like turn pattern with some afro thrown in there. but it's
Dope.
still gonna be like our style and our like seasoning at the end of the day.
Absolutely, man. Keep that. Keep strengthening that. You guys know I'm always trying to kind of bring forth the essence of, and it's unfortunate that nowadays sales is like looked down upon, but at the end of the day we're always selling ourselves, right? If we're entertainers, then we need to be as entertaining as we possibly can to constantly challenge ourselves so that we can, even if our product is free, every day we're going after views or likes or comments. That's what seems to be, digital currency, if you would, nowadays. But we got to sell it at the end of the day. And what's a high ticket item or something that's rare or a commodity is if you guys are just you, as we were just saying. So that's always going to help. That's always going to help. So props on that. That's what's up. That's very, very cool.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you. And I think that right now, Claude-Eric is at a different level by himself, but when you pair it with me, I'm also at a different level. I'm out there just to have a great time. So we're just out there again, enjoying ourselves, showing people, hey, go out there, have a great time, you know? And like you say, don't just dance and dance. No, just enjoy it.
Right.
And he enjoys it, but he's at a different level. I enjoy it at my level. You put it both of us together, we're enjoying it together.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what we want to put out there. We're just enjoying it.
100%. We have a principle within our academy it's called don't do, dance, in the sense of, oftentimes we're so caught up in the material or the tangible aspects of it, that we're not even looking at our partner, or we're not even realizing where we are.
Yeah.
One of my previous episodes is it's called "Where Are My Toes?" Sometimes when I'm just dancing, sometimes I just like to move my toes, and I'm like, oh, I'm human. And I'm like, oh, I have this body, and I'm in this place, and there's this music, and there's this person, and we're connecting in this space, in this energy. It's really important to, in my opinion, just to stay present throughout this whole thing, because we can kind of get distracted in the noise, if you would, versus appreciating the music. That's a whole other thing. I feel like the music has been, at least the Cuban music, they've been coming out with some really cool stuff, really, really awesome stuff lately, to the point where now you have all these mambo dancers dancing to Cuban music, and it's like, bruh, which makes sense, to be honest. But cool. No, that's awesome. Really, really, really cool. Okay, so you guys are stepping up into choreography because you guys have been killing it in the heats, which that's my favorite, as you guys know.
Yes, us too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's normally like it's like about 2 minutes, right? Have you guys been in one that's longer than that? The heats?
No, it's usually the most with like 145 or 130.
Right.
That's usually what it is.
Right, and you got to bring it, for sure.
Exactly. Exactly. Sure. And then usually Claude-Eric is like, just follow my lead, and as a leader, I say, okay, I know you have more experience, so that's right, I'm gonna have to relax and just follow his lead. But lo and behold, if the song is good at one point, I'm like on my own, and he's like, come back, on my ear. But we still try to bring us and bring the fun factor. And
absolutely,
it always looks like we're having a great time. I think that people appreciate a lot that we're having, fun. And you don't even realize when the music is over, because
it goes by so quick.
It was so quick. We were enjoying each other. We were enjoying the process.
Right.
So we don't even see. So it could have been like 2.5 minutes dancing. Most of the time you'll see us laughing. And we're genuinely laughing. Like
right.
Something happened, or he noticed that, and I noticed that I did something, or he did something. I didn't understand what you were doing, and we start laughing.
No, that's great. No, absolutely,
and that's great time. Yes.
That's another thing, is that at the end of the day, like as we were talking about before, like you got to sell it, you know, and you guys being genuinely having a good time, that's what everybody wants. That's what and there's not a human being on the planet that doesn't want to have a good time the way that you guys are having a good time. So yeah, definitely the more that you guys can embrace that, for sure, that's absolutely amazing. And of course, while doing all the really, really cool stuff that you guys are doing, I mean, at the end of the day, like it's impressive, you know. But it's been that way since you guys were competing at Summit the first time. That was before COVID, actually. January 2020,
yes.
right?
That was our first time.
Yeah, nice.
And in a large arena, yes.
Right.
In a large arena, that was our first time.
Beautiful.
It was a little bit nerve-wracking, but
right. But that's normal. Part of the process, like you said. Part of the process. Just get the nerves out. And that's why I always, oh my gosh, like sometimes some of the students, they're like, oh yeah, you know, let's do 2 choreographies and let's do 7, you know, categories. I'm like, oh, like that's amazing. I'm super proud of you. I'm glad that you're ambitious, but you're probably going to go out there for the first time and you're not going to remember your name. Like, it's just,
exactly.
You know,
exactly.
The second those lights hit you, it can get, definitely can get intimidating for sure. Yeah, no, but you guys have been
fun.
For sure. And again, people watching that, not only are you able to transmit I guess you could say the skill, but that feeling, and then everybody's, at the end of the day, they're staying watching you, you know. And then as the performers, you could feel that. Yes or no? Like you guys are vibing, you're doing your thing, and without you even looking out, you can feel presence. You can feel them apart.
Yeah.
You know, which is it's awesome. It's definitely, but nerve-wracking. And then all of a sudden, 1, 2, 3, what? 5, 6, 7, huh? You know,
exactly.
The adrenaline takes over.
Yeah.
Claude-Eric more so than me, because I'm more in the zone and he's able to see around him. So at the end, he'll be like, "Didn't you see?" I was like, "Nope." Nope, because I was just focused on you, making sure that, you know, I'm following, you know, I'm doing what I need to do.
For sure.
But he picks up more than me.
Yeah, I'm very about playing with the crowd. That's one of my favorite things to do, is like, I like seeing what people are like thinking, like as I'm like dancing. Like you try like not talking to people, but you talk to people with your dancing as you're moving around the stage. So working the stage, going from left to right, maybe pointing out somebody, throwing a little wink here and there, just to like show like interest. So like, wow, like this kid, he's caring about us while he's dancing. Like it shows careness.
Absolutely.
While you're dancing, which is not the easiest thing, because some people are so locked in on themselves, and then they're so like focused on maybe just trying to put something cool out there. But you could do a basic, but the way you present the basic could determine like how much like your energy you're about to put out. That first step could show either A, like I'm about to bring it, or B is gonna be like, oh, okay, let me just
let
me just feel it out. It just depends on a lot of things, but
for sure. And you hit that right on the head, bro. And like we were talking about before, like the fact that you're able to do that, the fact that you can bring your eyes up and actually look around and actually make connection with somebody on the outside, while at the same time, of course, taking care of your partner, right? But you're able to do both at the same time. That, again, that's just showing another level of presence, which I think as dancers, I think that's ultimately what we're representing. You know, that we kind of sort of have an advantage because we're able to, I guess you could say, in a low-key multitask. We can do 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3 tap, 5, 6, 7 tap, while doing some cool turn pattern, while feeling our partner, while looking around, while winking at somebody, while listening to the music. So that requires a lot of presence, which is great. So obviously, the more practice that you have doing that, or that having that intention, and the better off, essentially. And then, of course, the more the crowd appreciates it. But let's get going, guys. We're already at 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna hide you guys real quick. I'm gonna intro you guys, and then I'll bring you guys right back in, and we'll get started. Sounds good?
All right.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. All righty. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So everyone that subscribed has officially gotten the link. So here we go.
Oh, wait, are we muted?
Here we go. No, you're good. You guys are good. Don't worry about
Oh,
it.
we're muted. Oh, okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Salsa Kings Live, episode 122. No excuses with this amazing, dynamic mother-son duo, Shirley and Claude-Eric. Shirley, the mother, has been dancing for over 18 years. The son now for 12 years. They've been competing together for 3 and have been absolutely blazing a trail like it's nobody's business, competing at the Summit, the Casineros Timba Fest, the Latin Dance Crown, winning first place in AM heats, in Salsa, Bachata, Casino, all over. Just the fact that they've been dancing socially together for such a long time, and obviously this connection that they have is literally unparalleled. It's an absolutely beautiful thing to watch. So make sure you guys stay tuned, drop some comments, ask them some questions, because this is definitely going to be a lot of fun. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring them on board. Miss Shirley and Mr. Claude-Eric André. What's going on, familia? How we doing?
Hi. How are you?
How did I do? How was that intro? Was that accurate? Did I do that right?
It was accurate. It was accurate.
Yes. We were enjoying it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Perfect. I appreciate you guys for coming on. Thank you guys so much for already. I already know this is going to be a lot of fun. Your energy is absolutely amazing. Thank you guys for being you, for blessing all of us with your spirit, with your skills, with your smiles, with your swag, all the above. Genuinely appreciate it, sincerely. So let's go ahead
Thank you for having us.
for sure. Let's start off with you guys. I'll go ahead and give you guys the floor. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. Let our listeners know who you guys are. How did dance come about in your lives? I guess starting off dance in general, if that's a different time frame, and then how Latin dance became involved, and then how you guys ended up doing your own thing together, which I think is absolutely amazing. You got a lot of people really intrigued about your guys' career, for lack of better words, which is awesome. So I'll give you guys the floor. Go ahead.
You want to talk about yourself first?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, of course. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Shirley, and this is Claude-Eric. So I'm his mom. So starting with me, my parents are Haitian. I was born in New York, but I did live in Haiti, where I did take dance lessons. I always loved to dance. Like, you could have any kind of music, and I would be dancing. So once I came here and I found out that I was expecting my son, my dream was to dance with him. So from day one, we started dancing. He wasn't even breathing yet. We started dancing. At 4 years old, he went to a place and he looked at a kid, and a 7 year old, and he told the kid, "You, me, we battle." And I'm looking at him like, "What? Like, you've never taken lessons. What is up with that?" So he asked the kid to battle. So I'm looking at him, okay. And he was serious. He had moves. Another time we went to SeaWorld, they were dancing. He went to the front and he started dancing. And he's not like, "Oh, I'm just dancing." No, he was on beat. He had moves. I'll share the video one of these days.
What?
Embarrass him a little bit.
Oh my
And
God,
so
that is amazing. Oh, you gotta love mom stories. This is the best ever. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm so blown away already. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So then I'm like, well, it seems like this child has talent. So took him to a school where they had hip hop only for boys. So he started with hip hop. Like at 5 years old, he started dancing hip hop. He did that for about 2 years. But then I realized that he was very strong in dance. So I needed to challenge him a little bit more. That's when I was introduced to Hotspot by a breakdancer by Mario. So I took him.
Shout out iFlow.
Yes.
Super
Shout out
Mario.
iFlow. Yes. Mario, you the
Yes.
man,
He was
dog.
day one.
Appreciate you, man.
Exactly. So we switched over from the past studio. We started with Hotspot, In there, he actually did contemporary jazz, Afro-Cuban, salsa, bachata. He was doing everything. And we would find him a partner to perform. Quite difficult because he was so much more advanced. And it happened that life pushed him into salsa. And from this point forward, he, grew into salsa. I guess that's what life had in store for him. And as he started growing, I realized that I was just sitting there waiting for him. So I decided, why not start dancing too? I mean, I'm at the studio, I might as well. So then I started dancing too. He was older, I didn't have to really pay attention to him. So I started dancing, and that's how we started getting into it. But I have always been his life partner.
Nice. I love it. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's amazing. Okay, so then when did you say, or okay, how old, Claude-Eric, were you when you guys started dancing together?
Ooh. When we started dancing together, there's a video of us dancing salsa together. Maybe when I was around like 7 or like around like 7 years old.
Okay.
Because I used to go out with my parents to go like these live bands and things like that, just to because I wasn't gonna stay home. And I remember I used to just pick up my mom because she danced salsa and I was just learning it. So I would just pick her up, and I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was already him. I was dancing. I was like, I'm S tier. I'm like, I'm here doing Afro for the most part, doing bacunaos. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm S tier. So it was probably around like 7 years old where I started like dancing like socially with my mom. And I mean, I had no embarrassment then. I don't have embarrassment now. So
That's
it
huge,
just kind
man.
of comes with time.
I love it, man. That's amazing, brother. So, okay. So then I guess is that when you would say that was when the formal training started?
So the formal training, yeah, it started around there.
Okay.
It started around like that 7 years old age when I was a little bit older, and then that's when they started finding me a partner for me to start getting into performing and things like that. The thing is, the problem was that I was short, so it was hard to find a partner who was like my age, kind of, and my height, and things like that. And like, cause I mean, since I started younger, I was at like a maybe a little bit higher caliber in salsa specifically, other styles and people. So it was kind of hard to find like just all these factors. But yeah, the formal training started maybe when I was around like 7 years old.
Nice. Okay. So then I guess well we got Shirley's perspective. Tell us a little bit about yours. You coming up. What if you remember what was going through your mind when you went up to the front of SeaWorld, was it? Like do you remember that? Like what was going through your
I
mind?
don't remember that. I don't
Okay.
remember that specifically, but I do remember
Oh,
the year of transition from my first studio to my second one because I remember specifically I did a show and then I was like the only boy in my class and it was like some jazz routine if I remember right. And I
okay.
remember I had one part where I would just run in, do like a cartwheel and like a forward roll and I get off the stage. And my mom like put me up throughout the whole year just to go to that show and that's all I did. So then that's when I remember my mom saying, "We gotta go." I remember her vividly saying, "We need to change." She's like, "I'm not staying for this anymore." I remember that till this day. And then I remember I started first on hip hop when I transitioned. So I stayed on hip hop for a while. And then the thing is that my dad, who's a Zumba instructor, I used to go to classes with him when I was younger.
Nice. Okay.
That's when I started getting into like the like, salsa and things like that. So when I transitioned into my first song, they were doing all these moves. And I'm like, whoa, I'm ahead of my time because I'm doing all these moves. I'm like, I just, I'm like left, right, left, right, easy peasy.
Right.
And I'm like maybe like 8, 9 years old at this time. So I'm cocky. At that time, I was cocky to the max. I'm like, we got these people in the back struggling, or I'm 9 years old eating up the floor right now. So I knew the steps, but I didn't know there was like names and a community behind it.
Sure.
So that's when that all started up. So I remember those moments specifically because I first started salsa at that like young age of transitioning from a hip hop dancer into like a salsa dancer.
Okay.
That's what I remember the most.
What would you say? What would you say What would you say you were able to carry over
Oh,
from?
definitely the swag.
Okay. So personality.
The swag was, oh yeah, top three easiest things is probably the swag. I
Okay.
mean, you got to stay swaggy. I don't know how to say it. I mean, I feel like, in my opinion, I'm one of those people who are more swag more than technique. Like, I know
Sure.
that's a big controversy of if it's more technique than swag or like equally balanced.
Right.
Me personally, I'm more like a swag type of person. And don't
Sure.
get me wrong, technique is just as important. But swag to me was like a really big deal. I never wanted to look like everybody else. And I mean, it's already the fact that there's not a lot of like of us in the community. So I already know that I'm standing out. And if I'm just like everybody else, that makes me like just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
I would want it to like stand out with the tag was dang like when you already walk on stage and I'm gonna walk like I'm all that in a bag of chips. When I walk
Absolutely.
on stage, that was like the main thing is walk with swag.
You got to sell it,
Not
like we
with
were talking about
confidence, you just
before.
gotta walk like you brought the place.
Mhm,
Yeah, you just
mhm,
gotta walk in like you brought the whole event.
mhm. And also being that what he started young, he started dancing with me. He was on stage, so he never developed a fear. So he was like, "Well, this is my second home. Like I'm walking on stage. I'm walking in to perform. I'm dancing." So he never had that fear because he started young. So he was used to all eyes on him. He was used to being in the forefront, helping out the others. So for him, it just came in very easily, very
Well,
easily.
for sure, and I think got to thank mom and dad at the end of the day because
Of
that
course.
foundation essentially, I mean, like okay, it's like the exact opposite of my situation. Like my first dance class was at Salsa Kings when I'm 16, and here I am thinking I'm ahead
Mhm,
of the game, right?
mhm,
So for someone like you who's literally being raised into that, like a lot of Cubans, right? So the same thing. Like a lot of Latinos in general, they grow up with dancing families, and it's very normal. It's part of the culture. So that's
mhm.
awesome. So you being able to capitalize on that is a really really big deal. Obviously, because it's gotten you to where you guys are at, which is wonderful. So thank you guys for that. That's awesome. Definitely a lot of pieces of information that I didn't know about you guys, which it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Really, 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 really
when he
cool.
was younger, when he was younger, the older people, like he would ask them to dance, but they would try to lead him because he was short, he was a little boy, and he's like, "Mom, they're leading me, but I know how to lead them." And I'm like, "Well, you have to just do your best." But all the grown-ups were like, "Okay, you turn." He's like, "No, I know how to lead you." So they had me to practice with till today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm the practice partner.
Well, I mean that makes a lot of sense, man. Because sometimes we just at the end of the day, sometimes the world isn't ready for us. We just got to keep training. We got to keep training, and we got to prove otherwise. Because it's possible that we're so advanced that everyone is
Mhm.
it's like it's not even in their
That's possibility.
imagination that
Yeah.
someone
Mhm.
like you could lead them, so they're missing out on an opportunity to connect with you and you with them simply because it's so rare, it's so uncommon, if you would. Take that as a compliment, bro. Take that as a compliment. That's amazing. I'm sure it was extremely
I will. I
frustrating as it
will.
was
Of
happening.
course.
There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah.
There's for
Mhm.
sure, man, for sure. So, for those of you that don't know, those of you that are watching or that are listening, all of our guests have the opportunity to select the topic in which they are most passionate about and the golden nugget that they want to go ahead and leave you with. And there was actually multiple themes here, but we kind of concluded to this overall theme of no excuses, right? We have a mother-son duo. So there's a lot of differences and a lot of challenges that are unique to each of you guys. And correct and stop me if at any point that I'm wrong here. So let's go ahead and talk specifically about that. Ladies first, Shirley, go ahead. Tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you face, or kind of like maybe Claude-Eric's experience that, like, maybe people look at you and it's like, oh, that's not possible, or, what are you doing competing? Or I don't know. I'm just, assuming different scenarios that are possible. But what have you felt static towards in your dancing career? I mean, I know from what I know that you guys are not stopping. You guys are gung ho. You guys are committing yourselves. You guys are putting in the time. You're dedicating the resources, which is a big deal too. Shout out to mom and dad for sure on that one. It's a big deal, and because it's all those things together is what makes this a possibility, right? But I'll go ahead and I'll give you guys the floor.
Okay, thank you. Well, time definitely is of an essence for us because Claude-Eric trains one way at one place, different times, and I train different times. So
Okay.
it's a give and take. We often have to speak to each other. Okay, well, you're gonna have to give for me to help you. So you have to come to my class so that when I'm done, I can take you to your class. That's the biggest thing. And one of the great thing is that since Claude-Eric is a little bit more advanced than me, I can come and say, Claude-Eric, I need help to perfect this move. Help me. So he will come, gladly help me. Well, he'll give me a hard time at first. I'll have to bribe him. But he will come and he will help me because when he realizes that I have it, he gets to claim that he's the one who trained me. Right. But uh, but I have to be able to dance at his level, so that pushes me a little bit more. Um, he does classes. He invites me to come to his class to support him. Um, so we definitely try to work together to make it happen for the both of us. Since I'm still learning, I'm still moving ahead a lot. I appreciate that because we want to go to the next level. Well, I want to go to the next level. He wants to go to the next level. And together we want to go to the next level. So, we do try to work together. As far as, out there, I think that everybody loves us. They always welcome us. They think that it's great, what we're doing. And basically, we're just having a great time. We're just having a great time. And whatever challenges come, we'll have to figure it out.
What about
We'll
what
have to
about
figure it out.
what about specifically for you, Shirley? I guess with I guess what would you say that what challenges do you specifically experience that Claude-Eric isn't? How's that?
The ability for me to learn. He learns
Okay.
at a much faster rate than me. So it takes me a little bit longer to learn. So I have to practice more than him.
Got
And
it.
let's say we're doing a choreography because of his level, he's pushing me more. So there's a level of frustration if I'm not moving fast enough. That's the biggest thing. I'm not moving fast enough. You know, I need to, like, if I'm doing on two, if I miss my 6, 7, he has, when he's doing the choreography, his thinking is way above, whereas I'm still here. So I have to really work hard to be up here.
Gotcha.
So it gets us frustrated because he's up here, I'm up here, I'm down there. So we kind of have to, and I keep telling him, listen, gotta come down because all this fancy footwork is not yet for me. Come down. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like we're up, we have to find a middle ground so that we can look good together.
Absolutely. And I think that's what, at the end of the day, that's what the social dancing is all about, is we're practicing connecting, right? As no two people are the same. However, it is absolutely beautiful that you can tell that you guys are more connected, even though it may feel in rehearsal or in practice that you guys have a big gap. It is vastly larger in the public. The connection that you guys have is absolutely beautiful. It's amazing. I pray that it doesn't frustrate you guys too much, because you guys are absolutely awesome. And I can tell you that I've been doing this a long time. As I'm sure everybody else is telling you too. You guys are amazing. For sure. What about you, Claude-Eric? Talk to me. What would you say is unique specifically to? Well, first, how old are you, bro? How old are you now?
I'm 17 now. I'm 17.
Okay, you're 17 now. Okay, so at 17, what challenges do you face that? And by the way, maybe it's none. Versus a lot of the champions that you see, or maybe even your teachers, or whatever the case. You tell me.
Well, number one of the biggest things is that everybody tells me how much they like my mom more than me. That's the main thing. They all tell me that they like my mom and that I'm just okay. That's a very big thing. It's how much they like my mom more than me. But it's okay. I mean, you get kind of used to it. So that's just one problem. That's just like one thing. Just like she said, it's usually like now since that we're both dancing, like my training and her training, it's just hard to. It's not hard to manage, but we get it. But it's sometimes hard to manage because things get really tight.
Mhm.
And as well as like making choreographies, I'm always like thinking more up. And then I have to always remind myself, okay, we got to dial it back just a little bit, but just a little bit, because we still got to bring her up with it.
Right.
Because it's not made to be easy at the end of the day. Because it could be easy, but in my opinion, it's not made to be easy because there's still a point to be reached, and nobody has reached that point yet, in my opinion. So
Okay. Nice.
with that, it just has to be like, it's just always reminding myself different things at the end of the day, with her and myself, is that we both also have different goals in mind,
Okay. Right.
like for each other. I mean, well, I have the goal of maybe taking this somewhere farther than maybe she might. And that's just like something I always got to keep in mind. It's just always self checking, I feel like, is the main part of myself. And then self reminders of that, like, I'm dancing with my mom, you just got to, like, always just remember things here and there. You can't get frustrated during practice because she's your ride back home. So,
Facts.
there's so many few things you could say at the end of the day, because you got to remember who could lock and unlock the door, things
For
like
sure.
that.
For sure, man.
And she knows where I live, so I gotta be careful.
That's true, man. I again, bro, the level, quote unquote, what I found is determined ultimately by how deep that you can connect with those that you're attempting to connect with, essentially, at the end of the day. If it's not in the level this way, it could be in the level this way. Yeah, we have some comments here. Adrian Perez, he's loving it. He's saying, never imagine Claude on the Salsa Kings podcast, and Claude talking that real. We got some fans over here. Appreciate you guys. If you guys have any questions
Shout out to Armando. Day one. That's my day one right there.
There you go. That's what's up.
Big shout out to him. Pushes me every day.
Loved it. So yeah, man, humility at the end of the day goes a long way. Again, if it's not in if it's not in the level of technique, like you were saying, or skill, practicing being able to communicate with your dance partner, in this case your mother, is arguably just as important, if not even more important. You can go so much farther when you're practicing those things. And then, of course, with that as a foundation, then you can reach these other levels in these different ways. So absolutely, man. Don't think for a second that there's something that's not being learned, even if it's not particularly what we were planning on learning. Life has a funny way of doing those, of teaching us things that we weren't really interested in learning, but apparently it is extremely important. Otherwise, it wouldn't be thrown up in front of us. And dance, social dance in particular, has a beautiful way of doing that for us because it forces us to connect with other people, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we meet so many different people, each with their own backgrounds and their own training and their own perspective and the way that they do things. For sure. So I guess getting now into, that's all the positive stuff. I guess what has been specifically, I would say even the hardest thing, Shirley, for you dealing with your son as your partner. I mean, as obviously as beautiful as that sounds, I'm assuming it can be challenging in ways that other people aren't experiencing, right?
Yes. A lot of times,
Claude, be nice,
exactly,
Claude.
yes, I'm gonna tell the truth. Yes.
Yes.
When we're doing choreography, anything I do, he looks at me crooked, like, "You want to do that?" And I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "No." So he doesn't take my ideas at all. I'm like, "But that's my style. I want to do this." He's like, "No." Then I'm like, "I like this song. I can see myself." "No." And I'm like, "But," then I have to explain, Claude-Eric, this is about you and me. It's not you. Don't do fancy steps because I can't do them yet. I will be able to one day, but bring it down. Let me practice. So the difficulty is in him accepting my steps, accepting my music. I mean, he just wants to be the sole choreographer. And then when I tell him, break it down for me, he's looking at me like, "You don't get this?" I'm like, "No, break it down. Like, I need the follow part, not the lead part."
Right.
So we kind of usually have to get help on that, on the follow part, to break it down. But now I think I'm better. I understand things a little bit better, so I can break it down from up and say, "Wait a minute, this does not work for me."
Gotcha.
You can't dip me, twirl me, send me on the side as well, and expect me to do 5 spins. That doesn't work.
Right. Okay, good. Well, you're getting to know each other, right? That's good for getting to know yourself, getting to know each other, for sure. What about you, Claude? What's it like having your mom as a dance partner, brother? Tell us, enlighten us.
I mean, as she said, it's just maybe like the speed part because I'm very go, and I'm very watch and follow and understand, and sometimes it's just like I just say in my head, "There's no way," because I would do something so simple. She's like, "Can you do it again?" I'm like, "There's no way possible." I feel like that's my quote of the year of "There's no way," because it's just like, come on, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like I'm just like sometimes I do push a little too hard, which I do agree. That's one of my problems is that I set really high expectations for her sometimes,
Okay.
like a little too high, and then she starts getting frustrated. I'm like, okay, I just got to realize to calm down because once again, there's just things you can't say everything because I'm not gonna eat for the next week if I say one thing out of pocket.
But he has to remember, he's been doing that for years. I've only been dancing for 5. Okay, so 3 years, LA, and a year. LA 3 years, and casino a little bit more. So I'm still in the process of learning. I'm still in the process of expanding my shines, my follow skills. I'm still in the process of expanding all of those. So I'm not very quick at all. I admit that, but I am getting better. So it's just sometimes to understand where I am versus where he is.
Right.
But still, I do want to get better because I do want to get to a level that both of us are just killing it, you know? But he has to give me a little bit more time.
Gotcha.
And we will get there eventually.
No, you guys have been, I mean, hey, if you're winning first place in every competition you guys are going at, I would say you guys have a pretty good track record. So keep that in mind. We have another principle in our academy. It's to check your results, right? So oftentimes the perception that we have of something is a lot more zoomed in than the way that others perceive it, essentially, at the end of the day. Like, there's a lot, even though there might be a lot of, speed bumps that's happening in between, or a lot of static in between, that's only because you guys have such a knowledge together. But if you were to really zoom out, to basically not allow yourselves to slow down in the frustration, because sometimes the frustration is the enemy. That if we just say, okay, you know what, let's do that, or no, let's just forget about that. Let's just do something, whatever the case is, of just kind of just going over it, because you guys are so fast, even though, Shirley, perhaps in comparison to your 17-year-old growing son, you may seem slow, but you're 5 times faster than even your average salsera, bachatera, etc. You know what I mean? So definitely want to shed some light on that. You guys are amazing. So with that being said,
another thing that
absolutely, please.
No, I was also going to point out, and like you, because you just mentioned something, my 17-year-old, his energy and my energy are two separate things. So
Okay.
it forces me, remember you asked me one of my challenges, it forces me, my energy has to be at his level. Because
Right.
when we're out dancing and he's pushing forward, he can't leave me behind. When he starts his footwork, I can't be like, oh no, let me two-step, because I'm tired. So that's another one of my challenges, to keep up with his energy.
Nice. Very good. For sure. Okay, no, that's good. This is all healthy stuff. I love it. So okay, so knowing all that, right? What would you guys say, considering all the challenges that we've spoken about? Because sometimes, how does it say? Comfort breeds disrespect, right? Sometimes we know each other so well, or sometimes we're so close that, we can say something that, that we don't mean, as kind of like as passing it off as a joke, but you're serious, but then that can actually hurt somebody, right? So the relationship, even though very, very strong, at the end of the day, we're still human. What would you guys say as a golden nugget, if you would? No excuses. What would you guys pass on to other dance couples, or other business partners, or other, basically, at the end of the day, relationships in general? You guys have a very unique and dynamic one. What would you say is something that could carry on throughout all of it, to make sure that you guys are together, if you would?
Okay.
So, the biggest thing I would say is, even though we're together in the same space, I believe in giving each other moments and letting each other breathe. And this is
Nice.
speaking within the routine and outside of the routine as well. Because think about it. If I'm with my mom 24/7, that she doesn't want to be with me 24/7. Let's just be honest. You know, so we need to let each other breathe. I'm gonna speak within the routine first off. So I very much believe in, if we're doing a bunch of crazy stuff, and all of a sudden I let her go to go do, like, I let her go not into do partner work, but maybe the music breaks and it has that free moment. I'm gonna let her breathe to do whatever she wants, and vice versa. So I feel like that's very important, giving those moments of letting people breathe, letting people express themselves in
Nice.
their own way, and then coming back within each other and coming back with it. And yes, that's very hard in the sense of breaking off and coming back in together, because you might still be in your own world. But that's one big thing. Now, outside of the routine, it's just as important that if we're doing a bunch of stuff and then I see she's getting frustrated, I'm gonna let her try and figure out for her own a little bit, because I feel like it's very important that if I'm still on her, of telling her let's go, let's go, let's go, that's gonna make the situation even worse.
Right.
So giving each other like their space and their breathe, and letting them, it's okay to be in your own world, and it's okay to be doing anything. You just can't do it for too long, or you can't do it for too much.
Right. Absolutely. Too much of
So
anything is harmful, for sure.
I feel like it's very important that you I just say like let each other breathe, because if you're in too much together, doing too much, it's just gonna make the situation worse. You can't fight fire with more fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But if you let the fire rest, at one point it will, die down a little bit, and
for
it won't
sure.
spread if it's in a controlled area.
Mm-hmm.
Together,
Let me just
together but separate. Absolutely, man. That's
exactly.
huge.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
big
Yes.
one. What about you, Shirley? What do you think? That's yes, Claude-Eric dropping nuggets. Yes. Good stuff.
And I would say it's also to listen to your partner. Yes.
The speed disses are crazy.
No, it's to listen. Um, because when you bring forth any kind of steps, move, perspective, at the end is communication. Remember, even when we're dancing, we're communicating.
Right.
So we need to talk to each other. We need to listen. Listen, at this level, I'm not able to do this. How about we try to do this? How about we try to incorporate? So when you get to work together, the product is even much better because I bought into it, right? I bought into it. I'm in it to win it. We're in it together. So it's to listen and to accept and to work together.
I love it.
So, and he says that, and I agree because he goes to his school. He's at Hotspot. I go to all my schools. I go to Caribe. I'm name dropping, yes. I'm at Salsa Lovers. I'm doing, and I come back to him and I'm like, this is what I learned. This is what I learned. He comes back to me and he says, Mom, look at this combo together. And together we're so happy to be sharing the information. So we're listening and we can put things together that we find works for us.
Divide and
And I
conquer.
think that, yeah, and the product is going to be amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's huge. You guys are learning from, if you guys, essentially, you guys are splitting up, you guys are able to double the learning time,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
huge. That's a big deal. Wise. That's what's up. I love it.
Yes.
That's good stuff. Okay. So I guess not, I don't want to say wrapping this up, but talking about more the next step, talking about the future, knowing all of this, where do you guys see yourself in a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now? And what are the goals? What are the goals? Why? Obviously, aside from having fun, right? We're enjoying the process. Is there more than that? Because it's possible that it's not. It's just like, hey, we're having a good time, and we just so happen to be winning some trophies on the way. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. That's amazing. Just curious as to, what are the next steps, if any?
You want me or you? You want to go first or?
First, I'll go first.
You go first.
Definitely. Our next step, we tried choreography, and we're going to try again. We're developing something. We're still in the process. Meanwhile, if competition comes our way and that's where we want to go, we'll definitely head that way. It's open. It's
Okay.
definitely open for the both of us. Claude-Eric, he's on a different path, but for the both of us, we're open.
Okay.
So for me in the future, biggest thing is that I'm going to college soon. So finding out where I go to college is going to decide where I train, because dance is definitely something I want to keep on doing in life.
Beautiful.
Because thing I call myself, and then my mom calls me, is that I call it an investment in myself, and I call myself an investment. And it sounds wrong, but it's also the right word at the end of the day, because I invested in myself, or they've invested in me as well, to better myself and better this hobby. And I'm not going to let it go to waste anytime soon. So I'm planning on moving somewhere else. That's the hopes, because I do want to continue training as well, in the dance community. And I do want to get better at it. And I mean, as much as I love Miami, I do want to see what else is out there, see how other people train, get
Sure.
more experiences out of that. So I'm very excited for the future, but I'm very nervous as well, because it's a whole new chapter. Because I'm going totally brand new, so I have to see how they work. I'm gonna be a newcomer, and it's always that same thing every time. So
For sure.
we're just restarting.
Absolutely, man. And I think, Mom, you've done an amazing job with Claude-Eric. You already know that. I don't have to tell you that. But dude, as long as you are you continue to be your genuine self, your kind, genuine self, bro, you're going to be accepted everywhere, man. And that's a fact. And obviously respecting your teacher, right? And there may be even times, bro, when you step into an environment and you're like, I got this teacher. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, knowing that you can always learn something. If you're coming from the space of humility, you will be accepted anywhere, and it's only a matter of time before you earn your leadership spot. You've already put in a lot of work, but just know that it gets progressively harder because I guess you could say it's easy to go from 0 to 80, if you would, but to go from 80 to 90 is like hard. And then to go from 90 to 92 is like twice as hard. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's that dogfight at the end when you see at these big championships like the Summit, etc. Like they're literally like, I was a Summit judge that we're talking about like 1 to 2 points off will determine between first place and second place out of 100, which is huge. So just know that there's always something, and if you continue to focus on the humility, the connection, it may not seem like you're getting it as fast right now, but in the long run, if you're continuing to go, that's always going to serve you better, even if at the very minimum you kept a friend. Because sometimes we burn a bridge just because we're so focused on our goal that we lose somebody who could have helped us, supported us in a way that we don't see yet. So always, brother, I'm excited for you as well. But just go in there knowing like, yo, I'm here to help. I'm here to dance. I'm here to do what everybody else is wanting to do too. And as long as you do that, bro, you're going to kill it, bro. But you know that. You know that already, though. You know that.
And with the future plans, we got the young community, people like me that are all around that people don't really know about. So shout out to FLF. That's what we call ourselves.
Okay.
That's Florida's finest because, we're Florida's finest. You might not know about us yet, but you'll know about us soon.
Yes. I love it.
I just really want to shout that out is that in the future, the young community is going to come out more, which I hopefully so. You'll start seeing more of us in the future. And I'm speaking on on everybody's behalf because I truly believe that we're all going to continue. So that's one of the biggest things in the future is just getting all our names out there because we've been doing this for so long, but we've been doing it since we were young. So nobody really knew about us. And we've always been under the heads of our companies, which is everybody's case, is that everybody knows us under our company. They don't know who we are personally.
Sure.
So probably in the future, you'll start hearing about us more, start seeing us more very, very soon.
Somebody said going to do great things.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Mondo. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
That's one of the biggest things is the young community. And, just us getting out there more. That's one of the biggest things I feel like is important to me.
Well, I mean, I can speak for every teacher, bro. Every single one wants to push their students to the absolute maximum so that they can have their own name. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely. However that helps essentially you, right? We also don't want to get attached, to the ego, to the fame, to always be focused on your personal growth. Because sometimes when we get a name, we have all these opportunities, but we may lose time for training. You know what I mean? And like I said, and that's where it gets harder as you get better, there's less opportunities to grow. So I just want to keep that in the forefront. But like I said, I speak on every single teacher's behalf. However we can help, ask, bro. And that's another huge thing about being humble. Ask for help. Hey, Mari. Hey, Alejandro. Hey, Andres. Hey, Mom. Hey, I see this. Can we do this? Is this possible? And let me tell you something. If it's coming from young people like yourself, bro, you'd be surprised, bro. You can move mountains. You can move mountains. come with that confidence and say, hey, this is what I see. And I think it's possible, considering, I mean, you have relationships with a lot of people. And make it happen for yourself, brother. Don't hold back, bro. YOLO. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. The teacher thing is very important because definitely shout out Mari and Alejandro, those two specifically. People who've trained me in the past, all of them as well. You know, they would always talk to me at the start of the season asking, what is the main thing you've always wanted to work on? And I usually tell them, and I be honest with them what I want to work on. And then
Right.
as I'm dancing with them, you could tell that they do specific, and they're always usually harder on me specifically versus than other people. And I've always been confused. I'm like, why? Like, what did I do? Am I doing something wrong? This and that. And they're like, no, you're not. And they would never still give me a reason why. Until I got older, I finally realized that, like, I remember telling them at the start of the season, oh, I want to compete more. Or I want to start doing salsa and ma. I want to start doing things like this and that. So in those moments of where we're doing footwork and I'm getting maybe a little bit lazy and they're like, no, like, you better start pushing or else, like, you're out. I'm like, whoa. And they're like, this is what it's really like. They're always giving me taste of, like, real world and reality. Like, they're just hand feeding me it soon. But sooner or later, I'm going to have to start taking big boy bites. So I'm appreciating it now. I mean, it doesn't taste great, but, you know, I'm swallowing it. And I still always remember from the beginnings of them being hard on me and them still being hard on me. But I know at the end of the day, it's all good reason. And I always tell them, I know I'm doing something right when they're hating on me. So it's okay.
That's right.
I always tell them that.
That's right. No, absolutely, man. And most important, bro, is there's going to be a day that comes when you're not going to have a coach. Mm-hmm. You're going to be your coach. So it's how well do you hear your coaches in here speaking to you when you're lazy? There's no audible on the outside telling you that you're being lazy. It's on you. You see what I'm saying? And that's not just for you, right? That's for all of us. At the end, that's for every single one of us. You know, I don't want to do laundry right now, but it needs to get done. How well can we get out of our comfort zone and make that happen? Oh, I don't want to go do groceries right now, or whatever the case is. You know. But the quicker that we can snap out of that and move into the position that we want to go because we want to compete, right? That's the reason why your teachers ask you that at the beginning of the season, right? So that there's a clarity and there's a focus of where is it that you're trying to go. But that's amazing, man. Good for you. And again, ask for help. However any of us can help, brother, you know that we got your back. I know that mom is your number one supporter by a long shot.
Thank you.
So don't forget to continue to remind her how grateful you are of her. All right. And pops too, for sure. And don't say, guys, for those of you that are watching, if you have any questions for this amazing mother-son duo, now would be the time. And thank you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys already knew that. Appreciate your time. It's already been over an hour, like I mentioned to you. It's crazy how it flies by. Insane, right?
Yes. Yes.
But any closing remarks? Anything that you guys feel that you want to leave out with?
Claude-Eric mentioned something, and I know in our conversations, someone once told me that, you guys don't know what you do and you don't know how much of an inspiration you could be. And I
Nice.
always see the moms waiting for their kids, and I'm always telling them, why don't you take a class? Why don't you dance? It's so much fun. So my hope is that a lot of the moms out there join some classes, they learn to dance, they dance with the kids, and we don't have to be great, we don't have to be perfect. We just need to enjoy the dance
Amen.
and just go out there, dance. You can dance with your kids. Even the young kids will, and they don't even, the young kids will dance with you too. They don't mind at all. I have a lot of kids that tell me, go tell my mom to dance. Come on to dance. So as much as you support your kids want to be your biggest supporters too when they see you dance.
Nice. I love it. That's huge. That's awesome. Yes, dropping the mommy nuggets. Yes, I love it.
Yes.
What about you, Claude? Talk to me, brother.
I mean, I'm kind of on the same note as her. You know, um, I mean, there's not really much to say. I'm trying to think because there's really you kind of pretty much said everything.
Yeah, no,
I
it's hard to follow.
already
It's
have a
it's hard to
I
follow
mean,
that up. I agree.
yeah, I mean, there really are no excuses at the end of the day because I
Mhm.
mean, as much as like goes into it, like people think there's always more but there's always more than you think it is, and I feel like that's the hardest part because everybody's like, "Oh, this is so easy. I could do it. I could do." Until they try it, they're like, "Oh," they
Mm.
pull the I'm like, "Yeah, it's not as easy as you think it is." So I feel like just recognition is like a big thing that I want to like leave people with. That like there's more to the story always than you think it is because it might look easy because if you think about it, oh, we're always together. That means we're always practicing. No,
No, no.
I probably out of the whole day we have max 2.5 hours max to maybe get something done together
Right?
because homework, working, practice, training, it's all comes together. And that's just one of the hardest things.
And it's a sacrifice. There are
Oh yeah, for
sacrifices.
sure.
There are a lot of sacrifices, but the rewards at the end of the day exceeds the sacrifices. You
Absolutely.
know, you should see our week. I'm driving here, there. People tell me, "You're coming to this class. Why can't you save the class?" Sorry, I gotta go pick up my son.
Right.
Like we gotta work together. I'm sorry, like I gotta go. So the day that he drives, Shirley is in classes.
Nice.
More classes, more
I,
classes.
I love it. When's that
And
happening? When's that happening, Claude-Eric? When are we starting to drive, bro? Put you
This
on
year
blast right now.
soon.
What's
It's
up?
like it's gonna be like in a month or two. I promise, in a month or
Okay.
two, and then you're gonna see me everywhere,
Okay.
everywhere.
me too.
Sounds good.
We'll be everywhere.
I
We'll be
love it.
pulling up in separate cars, but we'll still be together.
Beautiful.
So everybody
Beautiful.
who asks us, every time they see Claude-Eric, they're like, "Where's
Where's
your
your
mom?"
mom?
Every time they see me, "Where's your
Your son?
son?"
All right.
We're like, we're around, we're here. So they always expect us to be together.
Sure. Sure. Awesome, man. Well, for what it's worth, I'm super proud of the both of you. Your light, your energy is absolutely amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. Again, you have all the support. I think you have all of Miami at your back. We are your wind. Just keep those wings open and keep flapping because you ain't going down as long as you keep flapping. We got you. So
Thank you.
keep for
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you.
For sure. Keep that up. And again, thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for your time and sharing these golden
Thank you
nuggets.
for
I'm
having
sure
us.
a lot of inspired people that are in relationships in general. Definitely a lot. So thank you. Thank you guys again for sure. If there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and close out. Love you guys. Appreciate you, Shirley, Claude-Eric.
Thank you.
Go ahead and say
Thank you. Thank
I'll
you.
see you on the dance floor.
you already know.
I know.
Bye, guys. Be
To any of
good.
the ladies out there, I'll see
Oh.
y'all on the dance floor too.
Yes,
Just
my
to
boy
let y'all know,
Claude-Eric. That's dance with this man. Absolutely. Go ahead and say, mwah, besos.
Thank you.